Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I am out here today on my road trip hunting pyrite crystals. I have arrived after like 2 hours and 45 minutes on the road at my first location in Lynn County. This is a site called Boulder Creek, and here's the site. I parked at the other side of the road. There's quite a steep drop off over on the other side with water running. You can probably hear it in the background. There's little pyrite crystals all over the road. Every little sparkly you see there is a pyrite crystal. They're all over the ground. People come here for the bigger ones, but there's just little pyrite crystals everywhere. Last time I was here, it was probably late February, early March. It was raining. It was cold. But I needed to get out and hunt some crystals. I brought back some matrix pieces. If you walk up the side here, you can pick up chunks of matrix. They have pyrite crystals in it. That's a pretty decent sized crystal right there. And that matrix piece, I might pop that out of there. Here's another piece in matrix. This is a kind of crumbly matrix, so it's kind of easy to pick away at. But there's a nice little pyrite crystal right there. You can see the faces on them. The pyrite crystals in this location occur in pyritahedrons and dodecahedrons. So they're really interesting shapes, not cubes. Now the other location I'm going to today, they occur in tiny little cubes, but not in the pyritahedrons and dodecahedrons, even though it's less than a mile away. They're in a different shape, and they don't occur in the same shape at that location. But yes, the last time I was here, I just hunted around the bottom. I collected some sediment from down over there, and I brought it home and I washed it out, and I'm picking through it for microcrystals. Today, I'm going to hunt for some larger crystals. I brought my sifting screens, and I'm going to pick through some of the... I'm actually going to dig in. I might sit myself down on a rock up there, but I'm actually going to dig in and try to actually unearth some larger crystals. They get above 1/4 of an inch, and that's what I'm going to try to find today while I'm here, is some larger ones. But I'm going to get some smaller ones too. But probably the smallest thing I'm going to get and gather today, I brought an 1/8 of an inch screen. So I'm going to get some material that's over an 1/8 of an inch, but anything under that, I'm not going to bother collecting today. I've got tons of little tiny crystals. I want larger stuff from this locality. So I'm not picking up anything really, really small. Just larger ones. So there we go. So I'll get back to my car, gear up, and as you can see, there's trash to be picked up here. I'll pick up some of the trash on my way out. Actually, I'll pick up this paper plate and bring it. Ew. Should have brought gloves. Disposable gloves. I'll bring it back to my car and put it in my car. But yeah, also I see down the hill, there's also the outcropping continues down below. I wouldn't dig into it down there because it will undermine the road. But I might like to take a look at the outcropping down there. Possibly. But it's, as I said, a little bit steep looking down there. So I'd have to find a good way to get down there safely. And I don't know. May not bother on that. Especially since I'm here alone. I'm probably not going to do that this time. So now I'm going to gear up. I've got safety glasses. I've got my rock hammer. I've got my new GPS for finding the second location. I've got my backpack, which has my safety gloves. I've got my SIP screens. I've got my geo-pick. I've got a little shovel. And I've got my GAD. So probably right away I'm going to bring my... Oh yeah, and I've got my chisels too. Pardon me, I'm setting down the phone for a second. I'm probably going to load up and bring my chisels, my little hammer, my screen, gloves, safety glasses. I'm going to change hats so I get my neck protection on from the sun. I'll find out when I get up there whether I need the big hammer or not. I want to limit my climbing up and down as much as possible. So I may just toss a big hammer in my backpack and just bring it anyways, rather than have to make another trip when I find out that I need it. Okay. I've also got Ziploc baggies in my backpack for my finds. I'm going to go ahead and put on my safety glasses. These go on over my glasses because otherwise I can't see anything without my glasses on. One pace back, a person's face is a complete blur without my glasses on, so that tells you how bad my eyes are without my glasses. Okay, and I'm not going to bother bringing my geo-pick up there because that's going to be used when I am sifting through other stuff. I might bring my big sift screen up there just to contain material to go through. And that's it for now. Now I'm gonna shut my car. I'm the only one up here, so I'm not gonna bother locking it. And let's go see if I can find a spot. I'm gonna put away my phone for now. And here we go. Okay, I'm up here working into this little seam here. I found two things. First helpful hint is when you're popping little pieces out, put your hand beneath the piece you're popping out. You never know what's going to come tumbling out from behind that piece you're pulling out. I found some of the bigger ones in here that way. I would have lost them down there had I not had my hand underneath. Number two, If you're working in moist conditions, always remove the muck before you dig in with your pick. I lost a good crystal that way already, so I found two things out here. There's harder material, which will have nothing in it. Then there's a softer material that's mucky or flaky. That will have the pyrite crystals in it. So that is what you are looking for. There will also be some crystals in this brownish layer. There are some pretty good sized ones in there, but they're spread out, and I just hunt the surface for those. I did collect some dirt off the surface down there in an attempt to get down to the layer, but I figured it was better to get up here where it's exposed and dig right into it. Also, you can see water is seeping out of this. Be sure to wash your hands after hunting in this material, especially if you're hunting in the moist stuff, because due to the chemical nature of the pyrite present in this layer, the water seeping through it slowly is a mild sulfuric acid. So you will definitely want to wash your hands before eating anything. Or probably before driving home if you're any distance away from home. Just get a bottle of water out and wash your hands. So there's my tips and advice. As you can see, I found some pretty good sized crystals already. And the hunt continues. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half since I got here. Here's the results of my digging. Now, on my way down from there, I scooted on my butt across to the left and worked my way down to the other side of those rocks there in the middle of the screen. Now, as I scooted my way across the front of those rocks there, I picked two of my largest crystals. You can see my water bottle cap for size reference out of the side of the embankment there, as opposed to those where I was digging. Now, the last piece I chipped out has two rather nice oxidized but nice, let's see if I can get so I can see the screen. There we go, right in the middle of the screen there. Two oxidized but really nice pyrite crystals in it. Pretty decent size compared to the other ones I pilled out, especially the elongated one. But they're still smaller than that. And as I was checking out what the people that dug that great big hole found and discarded, I found this piece of matrix with these nice sized crystals in it. Apparently, these are about, a 1/4 inch in size. They must be looking for the real big crystals, which are probably about a 1/2 inch in size, and discarding everything else. So probably, I'm going to go up there and collect my stuff, and if they're hunting for that up there, I can see a pyrite crystal from here. I'm going to go collect my stuff, bring it down. I'm just going to go up with my pick, my little rock hammer. I don't know if you can see that reflection from here, but there's a reflection right over there. right in the middle of the screen there. That's a pyrite crystal staring back at me. But that over there next to that hole is where these people were digging and just leaving those 1/4-inch crystals just laying on the ground. So instead of going over to where I was digging and continuing to dig to find these, I'm going to go over and pick up all of these that they were leaving behind without having to dig for these, and possibly dig and find some more that are bigger than that. That seems to be a much thicker layer than where I was working, and also thicker layer might mean there's more stuff there. The only thing is there is a very narrow ledge there to stand on, so I'm going to be probably on my knees, which really isn't good for my knees, but it is what it is. So I'm taking a little bit of a hydration break, getting a drink, and then I'll be heading back up there and seeing what I can find, retrieving my stuff, and getting up there to continue up there. And I'll check in once I'm up there and seeing what I can find up there. But for right now, I'm just standing in the shade. And I'll probably pick up some trash. And I'll check in later. It's probably about 85 degrees out here now. Getting warmer. It was about 70 when I got out here. So I will check back in a bit. Okay, here I am. I've rounded up my stuff. I made it to the other side. And here's what I found. This is that area. That's where I was, over there. That's the area that I climbed up to get here. I just tossed all my stuff down, made my way over here. That's a cave on the other side. It seems to be all down to hard stuff in there. But in here, there seems to be a lot of... Sorry, I'm swatting at a fly. A lot of pyrite crystals right on the surface. I don't know if you can see them, but there's one right there in the middle of the screen. Sorry about the shakiness. There's more up here. But there is just pyrite exposed everywhere, and it seems to be pretty soft and sandy almost. You can see I am just moving this stuff around with my finger. It makes me wish I brought a brush. I will be washing my hands off after I'm done in this hole. There's another nice little pyrite crystal right in there. I don't know. There it is. And there's just crystals all over in here. Just on the surface. I think they're being rinsed by the water that's coming out of the formation. Up above is dry. So it looks like it's just seeping out of right in here where that hole, someone dug a hole into it. But I'm just going to follow this in a little bit and dig in. Spend about a half an hour more here, and then I'm going to head to the next site. So I'll give another report when I get down to the car and round up my stuff. The hunt continues. Okay, so here I am back at the car. The pile to the right is the things that I found at the first site here at Boulder Creek, and scooching across and working my way down. This is at the second area, and hunting over what the people over on that side left behind, and digging in over on that side. So I'd say that second area over there is much better. And I will show you where that is. So there's where the first site is where I was collecting. Up there. That over there towards that cave where that rock is sticking out and the hole is in the wall. That's in the shade is where the second area is. And this area over here underneath that is where I found some of the other large ones in their discards. Another thing you can do, and I found a few of the big ones doing this, is find some of the finer, coarser grained boulders and break them up. If you need anything heavier than your basic rock hammer, there's not going to be any pyrite in them. It's the wrong material. So it should break apart with just your rock hammer. You shouldn't need the point. Just the flat should work, the flat square end, and break it apart. And there might be some nice sized pyrite crystals in it. That's how I found some of the chunks that you saw with my second hunting site. The pyrite crystals in matrix came from some of these rocks over here underneath this slope. Also keep an eye on the slopes because water washes off the surface and you never know what you're going to find. Case in point, I just spotted a pyrite crystal over here that was just sticking out of the surface. Where was it? I lost sight of it. One of those things, if you see something and it catches your eye, don't take your eyes off of it when you move closer to it, because you're going to lose track of it. Keep an eye on that shine, and keep an eye on it like it's a diamond. I'll take a step back here, shift around a little bit and see if I see it. See if it catches my eye again. One of those things, it has to be at the right angle for you to catch that shine. So let's see, where was I? I was over here somewhere. I was walking over this way. Oh well. Is that it? There's a pyrite crystal right there. That's not it though. There's one right there. It was a big reflection, so it was a big crystal. I just can't see it over here now that I'm closer. It was on the edge of a rock. Oh well. Live and learn. Learn from my mistakes. I make good mistakes, so learn from them so you don't make them yourself. Maybe next time you're out here, you'll see it. And if you do, hopefully you'll be able to track it down and find it. Well, now I'm going to gather up my equipment and I'm going to head to the next spot. So basically, the second site here was much better than the first site. Work smarter, not harder. See where other people are collecting larger stuff and track it down. There's a nice size one just laying on the surface. That one called out to me. I caught the reflection. You can sometimes tell the size of the surface by the brightness of the reflection back at you. And the second thing I want to point out is you can find good crystals down at the bottom, but they'll be small and they'll be few and far between. If you climb up a little ways, the difficulty to get up there gets a little bit more. It increases, but you'll find better material. So those are my pieces of advice. And also the best way to find the best intact crystals is to dig them out yourself. That way you don't have to sort through all the broken bits that you find at the bottom. So I'm going to pack it up here, go retrieve all my stuff, fire up my GPS, and go track down the other site, which is a old defunct mine, and head over there. Okay, I have pretty much arrived at the next site. It says I'm 0.13 miles away, but the site is, I either have to climb up there, which I'm not going to be able to do, or climb up there, which I'm definitely not going to be able to do. So I'm looking around the bottom here to see if I see anything that looks like the material that they described. Otherwise, I'll backtrack a little and see if I can find another way up that's not as steep. They said the material looks like it has black pepper cubes in it, if it's been laying out. And the fresh material, the cubes are nice and brassy colored. But this, I'm not seeing anything cubic in this material. It mostly looks like basalt. Various colors and shades of volcanic basalt, with some other materials mixed in, but nothing that looks like it would have. I just got an alert that said I was arriving at the destination from my GPS unit. So I'm going to poke around here. Keep my eyes peeled and nose to the ground and see what I see. And when I find it, if I find it, I will definitely let you know. So there we go. I'll be in touch and let you know what I see. Okay, I have good news. Looks like I have found the location. And the rocks are in amongst the basalt rocks. I just found my first piece with the tiny pyrite cubes in it. So the pyrite cubes are very tiny. So I'm going to magnify this up, see if it'll focus at that distance. Nope, it won't. Okay, come on, hold it steady. Focus? Nope, it won't focus. Come on, there we go. They're really small. I'm trying to get it to focus in. Okay, you can see them in the upper right-hand corner of the stone, upper right-hand quadrant, little tiny black cubes. They've been exposed to the elements for a while, so they're black. This is the material I am looking for that has the pyrite cubes in it. this light colored material. That one has some nice size cubes in it. They're on the surface. You can see the reflection off of them. So I'm picking that piece up, definitely. But yeah, I'll be hunting around here for a little while. See if I can find some cool stuff. Probably stay here for about a half an hour. It's going to be like 5 o'clock before I get home at this point. So I'm probably going to stop in town on my way back through. Either Sweet Home or Lebanon. And grab something to eat. But yeah, I actually found the other site. Cool, cool. And the hunt continues. Okay, here I am. I just wrapped it up at the second site. I found some cool stuff. I'm very happy. Of course, I'm happy with finding anything. So here we go. I found some pieces with the salt and pepper cubes. You know, the little cubes. Now I found this rock and I just happened to break it in half and it's just chock full of pyrite in the middle. So I'm going to slab that and see if I might have to stabilize it so it takes a polish, but I'm going to work that and slab it and get that so I can cut stones out of it. And I found one big piece intact that has pyrite running all the way through it. So I'm going to have that slabbed up, or slab that up myself. And then I kept finding flakes. Someone's been here and has been knocking chips off of some of the larger stones. And if they have pyrite in them, they've been taking the larger stone and leaving the flakes. So I found that flake, and I found this large flake, and it's got, you can see the shine off the pyrite in it. That would have been an awesome stone had I found the rest of it. But it's still thick enough that I can probably cut this end off, then cut this section in half and get a couple of slabs out of that thick piece and get some cabs out of it. So I'll see what I can do working with that stuff. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's basalt or some other rock that might not take a polish. So that stuff in there. I got some small chips. I'll experiment with, see if I can soften the material or eat the material off the pyrite without dissolving the pyrite. See what I need to do that. Or see if it's possible. So that I'm left with just the pyrite crystals. So that's my trip. Found some great stuff today. So I'm getting tired, at a loss of words, getting tongue-tied. Gotta get home and get some rest. I made sure to leave plenty of material for anyone else to poke through. That's another part of responsible rock hounding. Don't collect it all. Leave enough material for other people to go through. And as you can see, I picked up some trash at the sites. I picked up a shell casing at this site. And I'm going to pick up another can that was laying around here before I head out. So I'll do that, then I'll hit the road and get back home. Well, I hope you enjoy this when I get it up. And until the next time, take care, be well.